Now let's begin with this hour bulletin with the latest updates. Remnants of Typhoon Matmo continue to bring torrential rain to Hanoi and many northern provinces, including Thanh Hóa, since last night. Now I'm sure people on the streets of Hanoi right now are experiencing the intensity of the rain and its impact. Flood spots are starting to appear in selected locations.
Yes, Dylan, and I have seen it with my own eyes this morning, but Hanoi is not where the heaviest rainfall is recorded. They are so in Thái Nguyên, Bắc Ninh, and Thanh Hóa, with rainfall recorded since 9 hours ago, exceeding 200 to 300 millimeters. The intense downpour has raised the risk of flash floods and landslides in more than 500 communes across the northern region, with Bắc Ninh, Lạng Sơn, Thái Nguyên, Cao Bằng, and Thanh Hóa placed under the highest level warnings. In Hanoi, heavy rain accompanied by strong winds and thunderstorms continues across multiple districts.
We're back with more updates on the aftermath of Typhoon Matmo. Now, just hours after our last report, heavy rain and thunderstorms have led to severe flooding in Hanoi this morning.
The rain is intermittent, but the damage is still being felt in many parts of the city. For the latest on the situation and ongoing recovery efforts, let's go to our reporter Lộc Dương, who is in one of the hardest hit areas earlier today.
Just a few hours ago, Hanoi was hit by torrential rain, accompanied by constant thunder and strong gusts of wind. Many streets across the city were severely flooded, with water levels rising above motorcycle exhaust pipes. Traffic came to a standstill in several major routes, while a number of schools switched to online learning before 6 a.m. to ensure student safety. Authorities reported nearly 70 flooded stations across Hanoi, mainly concentrated in the basins of the Nhuệ and Cầu Bay rivers, as intense and continuous rainfall since early morning poured into river systems that were already swollen after Typhoon Bua Loi, causing rapid water rise and slow drainage. At the height of the downpour, rainfall reached 328 millimeters in Ô Trợ Dừa, 185 millimeters in Tây Hồ, and 255 millimeters in Đại Mỗ. Here, around Đào Tấn and Nguyễn Chí Thanh streets, where I'm standing, the water has almost completely drained, and traffic is gradually returning to normal, though a few low-lying spots still have minor puddles and debris left behind. Overall, traffic flow has improved, and the city is slowly returning to its regular rhythm after this rare, intense rainfall event. Lộc Dương reporting in Hanoi for Vietnam Today.
Prolonged heavy rain is forecast to continue today across Hanoi, Thái Nguyên, and Bắc Ninh, with rainfall ranging from 60 to 120 millimeters and some localized areas exceeding 250 millimeters. In the northern mountainous and midland provinces, rainfall could reach 40 to 100 millimeters, while low-lying areas and Thanh Hóa may see up to 100 millimeters, 150 millimeters or more. Rising water levels are expected on major rivers, including the Cầu Thượng and Lục Nam, which may surpass alert level 3. With the risk of major flooding in Cao Bằng, flood peaks on the Bằng Giang and Gum rivers are projected above alert level 3, while rivers in Lạng Sơn, Cao Bằng, and Quảng Ninh could reach alert levels between 2 and 3, causing deep inundation in flood-prone areas outside dikes.
Now this hour, we bring you the latest weather updates across Asia, starting with Vietnam. Torrential rains have continued to batter northern localities, putting more than 500 communes and wards at risk of flash floods and landslides. The situation is particularly severe in Cao Bằng, Lạng Sơn, Tuyên Quang, and Lào Cai. Widespread flooding remains severe across several provinces. Now let's take a closer look.
In Cao Bằng, heavy downpours are expected to persist over the next 6 hours, some areas receiving over 150 millimeters of rain, increasing the risk of landslides and flash floods in steep, saturated terrain. Hydropower plants along the Bằng and Gum rivers have begun discharging water, while 17 of 19 irrigation reservoirs have reached capacity. Authorities have evacuated over 250 households from high-risk zones and activated round-the-clock monitoring teams for emergency response.
In Lạng Sơn, continuous rain overnight into this morning, ranging from 50 to 150 millimeters, caused widespread flooding. By 10 a.m., around 2,000 houses were affected, and 90 road sections were blocked by landslides. Authorities have cordoned off flooded crossings to prevent accidents.
In Tuyên Quang, Rainfall between 100 and 150 millimeters with localized areas exceeding 200 millimeters has inundated several communes with water depths of up to 2 meters in some places. Soil moisture levels have surpassed 85% in many areas, with some already fully saturated, prompting a level 3 disaster risk warning for flash floods and landslides.
In Laogai, continuous rain has soaked the terrain, triggering multiple landslides. The area continued to experience slides into this evening. In Yiti Commune, local authorities have urgently relocated residents living near streams, slopes, and landslide-prone areas to ensure safety.
We now begin with news making headlines. Facing with devastating consequences of Typhoon Matmo, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính on Tuesday issued an urgent directive calling for stronger efforts to prevent and respond to the aftermath in northern Vietnam.
Yes, and in the directive, the government leaders stressed the need to identify areas at high risk of deep flooding, landslides, and flash flood, and to proactively evacuate residents from danger zones, underscoring that protecting people's life and safety must remain the top priority. The Prime Minister also called for the reinforcement and protection of dikes, irrigation system, and hydropower reservoirs, as well as the mobilization of all available forces to respond to any incidents. Authorities are instructed to support local communities in flood prevention, rescue operations, and the delivery of food and essential supplies to isolated or severely affected areas.
Now, due to the impact of Typhoon Matmo, combined with an upper-level wind conversion zone, heavy and widespread rains have caused the Go River in Thái Nguyên province to surpass the historic flood levels on Tuesday afternoon.
Yes, and several sections of the Go River Dike have been overwhelmed, even though they were reinforced and raised by more than 1 meters with sandbags. Authorities have been racing to protect lives and property. We have the ground footage.
Severe flooding has occurred across the provincial center and multiple communes and wards. This many areas now isolated. Local residents are struggling to cope with the rising flood waters.
I came here to help my children escape the flood. The water rose so fast our boat capsized. Luckily, the rescue team was there to help.
Since this morning, we rescued about 40 people and are continuing to reach areas that are deeply submerged to provide timely assistance.
Authorities have mobilized all available forces to support residents in flooded zones. Families living in multi-story houses are being instructed to move to upper floors immediately and avoid traveling through flood waters without rescue assistance.
Priority is given to the elderly, children, and those with health issues. We've directed rescue teams to use patrol boats to transport people swiftly to safe areas.
As of now, the province has reported 1 death and 1 person missing due to the floods. The Provincial Steering Committee for Natural Disaster Prevention and Control and Search and Rescue is closely monitoring the situation, coordinating rapid response efforts and assessing damage to crops and property to provide prompt relief for affected households.
And we continue with devastating impacts of Typhoon Matmo. Heavy, prolonged rain triggered a breach at the Bắc Khê 1 hydropower dam in the Tân Tiến commune, Trang Định district at around 2 p.m. on Tuesday, creating a gap about 10 meters wide. Authorities promptly evacuated 200 to 300 households from 4 villages to safety. Water levels on the Chung and Bắc rivers are rapidly rising, especially at the Văn Mịch station on Bắc Giang River, which has almost reached the record flood level of 1986. Flood peaks above alarm level 3 are expected on Wednesday on the Chung River. Rivers in Bắc Ninh, Thái Nguyên, and Tuyên Quang are also swelling, with severe flooding likely to persist over the next 1 to 2 days.
And beyond breaching the hydropower dam, relentless rains have triggered widespread landslides, cutting off several national and provincial highways and threatening residential areas. Authority warns of continued risk of road collapse and further slides.
In Laogai, A large slide hit National Highway 70 in Nậm village, Phong Hai commune at around 10 a.m. today, burying 3 houses. No casualties were reported. Local authorities set up warning signs and had earlier evacuated 9 high-risk households. After another landslide, 2,000 cubic meters of soil and rock blocked traffic yesterday on Provincial Road 170B in Phu Luang. Cleanup continues as more slides are expected. In Tuyên Quang, National Highway 34 through Đường Hồng commune has been completely cut off after floodwaters washed away a retaining wall and 200 meters of roadway near the Bắc Mê hydropower plant. Authorities have sealed off the route, warning that all 124 communes and wards in the province face a very high risk of flash floods and further landslides.
Now, torrential rains following Typhoon Matmo have caused major damage across several provinces and cities, according to the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment. As of Tuesday afternoon, 7 people have been reported dead or missing and 2 others injured. More than 200 houses have collapsed, while nearly 5,000 homes are flooded or damaged. Close to 10,000 hectares of rice and crops have been submerged and ruined. Over 43,000 livestock and poultry have died or been swept away. Flooding and landslides have also caused severe traffic disruption, with around 500 blocked or damaged road sections in Lạng Sơn, Cao Bằng, Thái Nguyên, Bắc Ninh, and Thanh Hóa provinces. Local authorities are continuing to assess and update the damage.